Alright, so is this going? Alright, so is this going? I hope so. Oh God. Alright. What is going on with this? Alrighty. Hello MM, how are you, bud? Yeah, it does, mate. It would be better if YouTube got their act together. That's better. Alright. Welcome everyone. Hello MM, how are you? There we go. Nice and steady. Right. Let's see if there's more weed out there, famo, because there's been a bit. What I'm going to do is just put some pippies on. Thank you very much to the 8 people that are in here. Greatly appreciated. Welcome people, my name's Stu and this is Australis Fishing. All views on these live streams are my own. Can't put pippies on there, I took that off. Alright, hang on a second. Right, let's get it going. Okay. Ah yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just use a couple of bits of scalies. Okay. Welcome to the 9 people watching. There you go, seagulls, it's your lucky day. Alright, we're just going to put a couple of fillets out. 10 people, thank you very much. We don't embed our streams, people, so 10 people are 10 people. Better. Actually, that's the right spot. Just behind the wash. Okay, I think the weed's finally gone, so we can go back to our rigs. Thank you very, very much to the 14 people that have tuned in. What we're doing is just a beach fishing stream today. I'll go through the gear that we're using in a minute. Okay, people, if I can say one thing, always support local. All the gear that you see here is bought from my local tackle store, because you don't realise what you've got till they're gone, you know what I mean? So, alright, let's see if there's any smaller fish around when the weed came in. Hey Walleye Thomas, how are you, bud? What's going on in your neck of the woods, bud? Yeah, good mate, yourself? Alright people, so one of the baits, Zisman, how are you bud? One of the baits I'm using is pippy, or cockles as they're called. I think you get them from South Australia. See that little black mussel there? This is a bivalve. That's where it latches onto the shell. When you bait pippies, right, that's the first thing that you put your hook through. Okay, so what you do, nice one, ice fishing. You put that through that mussel first, then you just fold it around and put that through the main body of the pippy, and that'll last there for quite a while. One stage before we had 4 casts and we still had the same pippy on there from the first cast that we did. All right. Don't think the weed's here, but we'll find out. Ta-da! Zisman, thanks for that, bud, but we don't. So you keep that for yourself, mate, or give that to your family, but I'm good. I've got everything that I need for fishing. Okay. This Penn 7500 long cast and 12-foot ugly stick is a great combo from the beach, people. 30-pound braid, beautiful. All right. Weed's gone, which is good. I'm gonna have to change that rig up though, so hang on a second. Okay. The fish should come on the bite in the next couple of hours at the peak of high tide. So, unless the weed comes back, you know. Right, I better make up this new rig. Because my heart needed it walleye. That's why. Little bit of weed out there, not too much though. And all of our hooks are bare. Excellent. I'm just going to change this big rig around, famo. Alrighty, so what we're doing today, people, we're just fishing a local beach. This beach has been getting absolutely hammered over the last couple of weeks, but that's alright, it's not a deterrent. Now, I'm going to go back to a double snell rig on one set of hooks. And then see how we go from there. Hope you're feeling well today, Em. Right. There, that should be good. Alright people, I'll just show this rig that we're going to use. What have I done there? That's good. Now, let's take that off there, and that off there. Beautiful. Yeah, the tide's coming up now, so the fish are probably, I don't know, an hour away, if that, but we'll see. Okay, so what I've got, people, is I've got one three-way swivel there. Huh? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to one set of hooks. All right. So I haven't used gangs on the beach for a very long time. All I've used is snelled hooks. Now, Monty Murray, how are you, bud? Welcome to the stream, mate. So what this is Shimano Oshia fluorocarbon leader. I was having a lot of problems with fluorocarbon, and then I went into Whitey's Tackle and got put onto this leader. Very good stuff. I've had really good results with it since. Okay, now I use slightly longer rigs than most. Hope you're well, Monty Murray. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a auto body high, I remember, vaguely. Alright, so what I've got is I've got some scaly mackerel in there, which are a good bait for snapper and salmon and mulloway, especially up north. Right, so let me just get this in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, two, three, lovely. I can use that spare bit to tie some flies. And what we're going to do is, I always put a little float on my leader so that it keeps the bait suspended off the bottom. You don't catch as many stingrays that way. And the fish don't seem to mind it. I've caught plenty of snapper like that. Nice long leader. I'm not going to try and cut that with my teeth. I'll have no teeth left. And of course, put the float on the wrong way. Yes, going well. Okay. All right, people. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cast this out, right? And just leave it to sit out there for any large fish that are around. There are a few salmon being caught around these beaches, so hopefully we can hook into one of them, you know. All right. One thing I did is I went into Whitey's Tackle and bought one of these neoprene gloves. I got the right-handed one this time, not the left-handed one, because I didn't have any left. And yes, as you get older and your hands get softer, at least I haven't cut my finger nearly to the bone with the Tasline like I did last time when my hands got wet. All right. Let's cast this big one out, leave it out, then we'll start mucking around with the small one. All right, I think the weed's gone now. Yep, water's starting to pick up, which is good. Nicely done. That's just going to wash around in the current now. All right, we'll leave that till a bigger fish comes past. And now what we'll do is we'll mix up the baits. We'll do some squid baits. some pippy baits and just see how we go. Just like that. I've got a 10-ounce sinker on the end of that line, which might sound a bit excessive, but you've got to be able to hold bottom, you know. All right, thanks to the 17 people in here. Just another cruisy day in WA. Right, excuse me. There's a few whiting out there. So what we'll do is get a few more pippy baits out there. We've already caught some sandies this morning. No yellowfin, which is a bit of a surprise. Beautiful. Excuse me. If you're looking for a really good beach combo to do most of the things that you want it to do, right, this Ugly Stick Gold in the 12-foot two-piece and the Penn Longcast 7500 Spinfisher reel are fantastic. Okay, you can cast up to 6 ounces of lead on it, no dramas, and I've caught, oh, there was a bit of weight to that. What was that? Could some larger fish have come in? I hope so. Might have been a herring. Let's have a look. Rightio. Why did that turn in the rod holder? Oh, the weed's back. Bugger. Might have to call it a day if the weed's going to pop up like this. Oh dear. In Western Australia, we're allowed to fish with 3 sets of hooks on one line. Okay, so with that, I've got 3 single hooks on that one and just 2 hooks on that one in that Snell rig. I'm going to get some squid for this one. And see if that'll stir them up. It had to get caught on that, didn't it? That casts an absolute mile, famo. All right, let's see what's out there. Whew. Now things have definitely quietened down. I don't know whether that's because of the weed, but we'll find out in a minute. Okay, so okay, so this is pretty standard setup. Those rod holders are at sort of chest height. That way, if you catch a decent sized fish, okay. Hey, Falls, how are you, bud? If you do catch a decent sized fish, you can fight them straight out of the rod holders, okay? I don't like using the short ones and haven't done for a long time. Yeah, there's not much going on, is there? How have you been, Falls Town? Good? Hope you're well, mate. We caught a few fish before, and then a bit of weed came in and everything went quiet. So I haven't seen too much weed get washed up in the waves. We've just picked it up as we've wound the rigs in. Well, there's one bite. Normally if you're catching a heap of small stuff and then they stop biting, bigger fish have gone through. Yeah, thanks Fallstown, or Rich I should say. Yeah, I've been a bit unwell with a ticker, mate, so back streaming again and enjoying it. So it's my first fishing trip since December last year, mate. I've been going crazy. All right, I'm just gonna put the final bit. Hey there, Eric, how are you, bud? Yeah, it's pretty simple, mate. One of the, hang on. Yeah, weed, look at that. Hang on, people. Ah, dear. How did they go over each other? There we go. Ah, it was the weed, right. Okay, so, Eric. So, Eric, what this is a Penn Longcast 7500 LC, the Spinfisher 6, right, with 30-pound braid on it. And this is a 12-foot two-piece Ugly Stick Gold. I think this is one of the best value for money rods on the market, as is the reel. So for about $300, you'll get a rod and reel that should last you a lifetime, mate. The Ugly Stick has got a lovely soft action. Okay, you can catch your smaller fish and that, and it's quite forgiving when you're casting. So as you get older and that sort of stuff, you tend to appreciate that more. I'll just show you if you count the air time on here. Oh dear. All right. As you can see, you cast a mile with it. I really like the long cast spools. I've also got the Shimano long cast Speedmaster 14,000, or is it 18,000? 14,000, I think. And that works really well too, okay? And on the other side, I've got a Saragossa by Shimano 25,000, and this is a rod that I've had for over 10 years, Eric. That's a Horizon rod from WSB Tackle. I import them. Rightio, we've got a fish on, I'm pretty sure. Oh, look, mate. They're all okay, right? But I think the Shimano Speedmaster, just by looking at it, it's probably a little bit more designed for the freshwater fishing, but I've used it in saltwater and it works fine. Whereas this Penn is fantastic, but I've been fishing with Penn for a very long time and never been let down by them. All right, we've got a fish coming in. I think. Have we or not? No. Oh, did it get out, did it? Oh, bugger. Well, people, the weed's here. And for those of you that got excited, not the stuff that you smoke either, okay? Yeah. The rods that I'm using, Eric, are really good. You can cast up to 12 ounces of lead with them. And I've caught some really good fish on these, on this equipment here as well. Let me just cast this out again. There's only one spot on the beach you can really fish when the weed comes in. It's got a reef that protects you, that sort of goes across this way, but that's further down that way. And as you can see, we've got some beautiful airtime on that cast. So, but the key to this is braid, okay? Braid is fantastic. Really good sensitivity, if you know what I mean. But yeah, the Speedmaster's a good reel. The Penn's a good reel as well, Eric. But with the Penn, that's got all metal construction. So I just prefer to use that from the beach, if you know what I mean. They're bites, I think. Right, now this is definitely a fish. Let's try and not lose it in the wash. So what I did earlier on is I burleyed up. There's a reef about 300 metres offshore or 350 metres offshore. Obviously I can't cast to that, but I can burley fish in that will come into the shore from that reef, obviously. All right, what do we got here? There you go, people. How's that for a mixed bag? 2 herring and a silver brim, eh? Now, unfortunately for the herring, they are a really good bait for salmon. So hang on. Right, so this, hey Scott, how are you, bud? This is a little silver brim, or tarwine as we call it in Western Australia. I'll throw this one back. Okay. I thought that was one fish. Okay. Now, hey Scotty. Hey Warrigal, how are you, bud? Welcome to the stream. So this is a little Western Australian herring. They look very similar when they're juveniles to Australian salmon, but herring have got 2 little black triangles on their tail. The Australian salmon has a black line that goes along the tail. This is a really good size for bait. I'm just going to euthanize it and then put a fillet on for salmon. Okay. All right. So just excuse me if there is an Australian salmon out there. It's going to find it very hard to resist a fillet of herring, or any form of herring really. So I've got a little bit of herring here. So what I'm going to do here, right, is this. You put one hook in like this coming out through the skin, another one here coming out through the flesh, like that. And then what we do is we just do a little half hitch on the fillet like this. Oh bugger. Okay, so what that does is that presents horrible. And that what that does, that presents that fillet beautifully. Anything that hits that is going to hook itself. I use a little float on my rig with a fillet. This will keep this up in the water rather than on the ocean floor, and then that way what will happen is you'll get less stingrays, okay? Now, I'll get me trusty glove, thanks to the crew at Whitey's Tackle. And look people, if I can offer a bit of advice, right? Always shop local first, okay? And if they can't have it, they'll get it in for you, okay? All right, last time I was fishing with the Tas line, my hands got wet from the surf and I cast and nearly sliced my finger to the bone, hence I'm using an Assassin neoprene casting glove. Right. Okay. Australian salmon cannot resist herring. Hey! Return of them. How are you, bud? Welcome to the stream, mate. So all the juices from that herring are being released into the water. Yeah, I'm a bit accident prone like that. I know who you are, Hughesy. How are you, bud? All right. Now, did I bring the squid with me or not bloody... Ha ha! Ha ha ha! It's always fun to catch a triple header. Squid! Everything eats squid. Oh dear. Looks like we might have to go to a WA beach wire, fam. Or the anchor sinker, as they call them in America. Because that one's not holding bottom, unfortunately. Let's have a look. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, we just caught a weed fish. That's not good, is it, famo? Well, we're going to have to change our rigs around. Where'd this all come from? Alright, well, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to adapt to the conditions today. So obviously big sinkers are out. We're going to have to swap around to a float. So there's enough of this here. I reckon I can get a new hairstyle with this. What's that Aquaman dude's name? Right. Let's just give... The Go Off Kings, what a bunch of legends. Mars, how are you, mate? How are the Go Off Kings? Are they... Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's busy, Warrior Bull. He's got a new job, mate, that's taking up a bit of his time. All right, let's cast the little one out again. And just see what that does. I'm just using 4 ounces of lead there, and with this ugly stick gold rod it's casting at a mile. The only problem is when you've got weed, it takes your rig. All right, so what we might have to do, might have to switch to a float. Although we're getting bites on this again. Yeah, we're getting bites, hang on. All right, let's see what's happening here. Come on. One thing that people don't realise is you'll probably catch more fish with more salmon with a float than you will with a sinker. It's their natural instinct to chase bait fish into shore and feed on them from underneath. All right, here we go. Come on, bud. No, that's just weed, I think. No idea where this weed's coming from. There was no storms offshore, nothing. Okay, people, so what we're going to do is we're just going to swap this rig around, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a float, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to try and keep the bait out of the weed. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Buzzy, yeah, good, mate. I got 3 fish on one cast, Buzzy, but it's mainly just silver brim, herring, and just yellowfin, sand whiting, mate. How are you, Buzzy? You good? Thanks for watching the stream, bud. Right, let's make this rig with the float. Now, people, one thing you'll find is when you're fishing with the float, always put it between 2 swivels, because when you cast, okay, the float will push on the swivel furthest away from you and take it out. About 10 feet off the water, grab your spool, it'll flick your bait out, and then what'll happen is you just wind slowly, because the waves always push everything to the shore. And then when you wind slowly, what'll happen is, if there's a fish there, what it'll do is it'll hit the bait and take off with it. The float slides back and hits the swivel that's close to you, right? And then the fish sets the hook on itself, okay? K-Pup, hello from Australia, mate. How are you? So, I can use that. Great. Okay, so let me just get this rig sorted out before we go. Whereabouts are you from in the States, K-Pup? Great. Yeah, we're never going to catch anything with a sinker with all this weed, but anyway. Right. North Carolina. Okay. Now. Right. First things first. I need to get another swivel, which I have here. No, I use the bigger swivel, it's got a bigger eye. Oh, Colorado. Colorado's a prominent freshwater fishing part of the States. And North Carolina's got surf, hasn't it? Cape up. Okay. So. This is, and look people, always try and use the line that you've already got, mate. You don't want to sort of, you know, you don't want to sort of give yourself more expenses, you know. So what I've done, bugger. Yeah, we can't comprehend that here in Australia. A lot of people don't realise that in the States, America's such a big country that some people in the central part of America don't ever see the coast, which boggles my mind really. All right, so what we're going to do now is, if you're going to fish with a float for Australian salmon, you always want at least 1 metre between your hooks and your float, people. Any shorter than that and it sort of puts them off. Had a beautiful fillet of herring there before, I don't want to waste it. Morning, afternoon, morning. It's a bit rough. It's a bit rough throwing the wife, the dog and the kids out so they get a bit of fitness. He's going to pay for that for the next 30 years. I'm telling you. All right, people, so this is what we've got now. We've got the float between two swivels. Happy days. Right, and then what I've got is I've got at least 1 metre to the beautiful fillet of herring. And because we've got so much weed out there, I'm going to cast this out, see how we go. That's all we can do, right? We can only modify our rigs to suit the conditions. So, for example, there's that much weed out here at the moment, right? It's not really happening for us. But anyway, let's just chuck that there. I've got the last bit of snapper pellets here, I think. Right. Okay. What I might do... No, I won't. Hang on. Last 2 times I've streamed, I've gotten 3 fish at once, so, and it's always been on the ugly stick rod. All right, let's see if there's a salmon out there, fam. And look, people, when you go fishing, right, don't put yourself under too much pressure. Enjoy what you're doing. You know, just in recent times, Ocracoke Island, and then okay, I'll look that up later. And look, people, if it's not too much to ask, please click that like button on YouTube. that tells them that we're doing good things. I've just dribbled fish oil on my feet. Oh, eventually, mate, I'm a bit busy with work at the moment, Mars. But, you know, I'll get another boat sponsorship one day. I've actually been offered some sponsorships, but because of my work commitments, I don't have the time really to do it, mate. So, you know, and there's no point saying, yeah, I'll do it, when you go, oh, I can't, I'm too busy, because that gets people offside, you know. All right, so high tide peak is about 45 minutes away. Yeah, let's see what's out there, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cast. Hey, come on. Before it hits the water, see how I grabbed that and it flung it out. Just going to leave that behind there. So what I did is I grabbed my spool and the float was about 10 feet above the water, and that flicked the boat out. If you don't do that, it just tangles up in a knot and a mess. Okay? And surprise, surprise! No weed. I kept the float in front of the fillet just to keep it on the surface, because if not, the weed would just grab it. All right, wash coming up now. Let's go. That's better. Oh, there was a silver flash in the waves, fam. If you ever see the float drop, you know that a salmon's hit it. And as soon as that got washed under, yep, weed. We're getting hammered with weed and we're using a float, fam. Come on, get off there. Get off there, come on. Cheeky, cheeky, get off there. Cheeky, cheeky, come on. The one time we did have a gap in the weed, we got 3 fish. All right, hang on. You can see the weed in the waves, but there are fish surfing in on the waves just behind this shallow water here where this wash is. So, oh dear. Yeah, don't get it caught in the burley trap, old boy. At least I caught something on the big rod and reel. Hey. Rightio, let's have a look. Okay, nice. All right, if we are going to get one, it'll be in this area here. Come on. No. That's going to get taken in the undertow, and we're going to get more weed on the line again. Here we go. Oh no, the weed's gone. I'll come back and check everything in a minute. Well, people, even with the float, we're getting lots of weed on the line, so that's not a good sign. We did catch some fish this morning, which is good. Hang on, let's have a look. But yeah, when you're using a float and you're still getting weed, you know that conditions aren't the best, so. All right, let's leave that there. Bugger. Oh, nice one. I mean, that's what it's about. You got to enjoy life, you know. Well, fam, it's a bit average. I'm going to have one more cast with the small one, or the smaller rod and reel setup. And if we hook weed on that, well, I think our day's done. We'll give it another 15-20 minutes and just see if that weed goes. Obviously that's Mr. and Mrs. Seagull having an argument when fishing with friends one day, and you know, our kids asked 40 questions. They go, "Oh, what breed of seagull's that?" And they're like, "Meh, meh." Mr. and Mrs. Seagull. Some things just carry over. All right. Let's see. The funny thing is, there's not too much weed washing up on the beach, everyone. Well, that was a hit. That was a fish that hit then. But as soon as you set the hook, if there's weed there, it'll grab it. A sure way to tell if you've got weed, if you're using braid, is you've got a bow in your line. This is still pretty straight, so I don't think anything's dragging it away, you know. No, that's weed. Oh! Have a look out the back there, people. There's some fish feeding on the surface. That could be salmon. I just saw something porpoise on the surface. Yeah, more weed. Well, fam, I think our day is done. So, yeah, that's right, Mars. Thanks for that, bud. Now, look, everyone, thank you very, very much for tuning in. We'll be back to streaming 3 or 4 days a week on Twitch and YouTube. So I really appreciate the people who have given up their time to watch our first stream back. I was quite shocked that we've got 20 people watching. That's 20 people more than I thought we would get watching the YouTube stream. All right, so thank you very, very much. Hope you're all having a lovely time in your world and keep being awesome, and I'll see you next time. Please turn on your notifications and also follow us on Twitter at Australis Fishing, and I'll be starting to put stuff in the community, and away we go. Okay, all right, thanks for watching. Most important thing about live streaming is the community. Without you, there's nothing. All right, I really appreciate that. Bye for now. And now that I've said that, the weed will go away and salmon will be everywhere.